Hello, y'all. My name is Courtney Webb, and I'm your host with the most for Strange and Wonderful. Due to technical difficulties, Mr. Nick Nagar might be coming in a little slow tonight due to technical difficulties, but he'll be coming in tonight. So, how y'all been doing? I've been doing great. Have y'all seen any new movies lately or anything? I have. I've seen the new Jeepers Creepers Reborn movie, and that movie sucks. Really trash. It was trash. I went in that movie with an open mind and everything. Not even having any high expectation because I knew it was going to be different and everything. But once I once I saw that movie, I was like, "Oh God, this is trash." And the director, Timo Vangola, oh, however you pronounce his last name, swears that he is a huge Jeepers Creepers fan when he made the worst movie out of the whole franchise. And that's unforgettable because Rob Zombie had a lower budget than he did, made the Monster movie. And he was a huge fanboy of the Monsters. And he made that film look fucking fantastic. So that is no excuse. That is no excuse at all. Okay. Okay, I just got a message from Nick. We're still having technical difficulties. I'm so sorry, folks. But, okay, good. Oh, well, our guest tonight, his name is Mr. Nick McGard, and he had wrote this wonderful book called In the Beginning. It's a good satire book on religion. And he's still going to be kind of slow. I do apologize, people. I do apologize. I'm trying to get everything situated and everything. I feel like I'm about to go on a panic mode, but we're good. We're good. But I could show you some of his ads of his book that he had made. Let's see. Okay. Let me go to my links. Okay, this is one of the ads he has sent me. We got him. We got him. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Hold up. Oh no, I had to do that. Okay, well, I still apologize for the what's going on. We probably in retrograde or something. I don't know. Anyway, let me introduce my guest. His name is Mr. Nick McGard, and I got so excited. I saw him pop up. We got it fixed. Yay. Okay. His name is Nick Girard. He's the author of In the Beginning. It's a good satire book on religion and everything. And comical and very in the fantasy land. It kind of reminds me of the guy that wrote The Sandman. That's kind of what it kind of remind me of. So we're going to introduce you, and you're going to go see him tonight. I don't know what I'm doing. I never did this before. No, I do. I know. I got this. Okay, here he is, Mr. Nick Godard.
Courtney.
Oh my goodness, you look so nice.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you see me okay?
Yep.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was I couldn't get the setting. I'm so sorry about being late.
Oh no,
Apologize
you're
for
good. I cannot talk today.
that. It's okay. Good to see you. Thanks for
Good to
having
see you
me.
too. Yeah, thank you for coming on my show. This is Nick Regard, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't give you a proper introduction. I was just
That's okay.
flying and everything.
No, it's okay. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we got it working.
Yes, we did.
Perfect.
So, let me get my big book of questions out.
Excellent. And
So,
I wanted to
we
say thank you so much for the illustration. I love
I
that. That was
you
really
lo-
cool. Like you put in some serious
I think I have that illustration. Let me just go
you
real quick.
you put some serious work into that. Like I actually really enjoyed it. So I put that on my Instagram page, as you saw, and actually I got a lot of messages about it. People really liked it. Like it was
That's great. And that's
yeah.
I'm trying to get the trying to get it up. Oh goodness.
No, I really like that. You put yeah, you're a good drawer. Like
Thank
you
you.
that's a
Thank
nice
you.
that's a
I've
nice
been
art.
I've been drawn since I was a kid.
Have you? Okay.
Since I was probably 3 years old.
Well, it shows like you have good scale. Like that's my problem with drawing. Like if I try to draw like a human or anything, at the scale I can't do. You know, like the hand will be too big or not relative to the rest of the body. But you,
Oh, I feel you.
there it is.
Sue has trouble. What am I doing? Hang on, I have to find my
That's all right.
box. It's.
No, it looks.
I'm way better at this. I don't know what's going on, but
I think you're right. Mercury's in retrograde.
yes, it is. I'm like, oh no,
That's what I was all prepared and I had. Oh, there we go. Look
it
at that.
is.
Like it looks really good. And someone commented too. They're like, I love the chest hairs in a shirt.
It's actually supposed to be like a toga because I was like, well, it's such a religious theme. Let's make it a
Yeah.
toga.
No, I love it. You did a great job. I'm gonna have to find a shirt like that or toga. That's what I'll have to find something like that. I love the look that you did. It's really actually very creative. I looked at all the other episodes that you have on YouTube, and you do actually. I mean, all the drawings you do are great.
Thank you. I do.
You've got a real talent there.
I have drawn all of the thumbnails. I cannot talk. I have drawn all the thumbnails.
Okay.
And yeah, because I
impressed.
remember when I used to host the show with Michael, and Michael was like, well, we can always do pictures and stuff. I had the idea like, oh, let me draw them. And now I'm like, kind of regret that now, but oh well, I can't go back.
No, I'm glad you do that. It's a nice personal touch. You know, it's creative, and that's what watching your episode. That's what I really enjoyed is that you're very accepting, you're very original, you're very creative, and that's really what this. I know we'll get into it, but that's really what I believe in and what this book is about too. So I like your originality. It's very important to have that. So
Thank
good.
you. And
You're welcome.
I love how the way I found you was through your ads, and it was the Wizard of Oz ad that I found you through, and I was like, this is strange and wonderful. Let me follow this guy.
It's like that's why I like the title of your show too, because it's a good pairing, strange and wonderful. Like, because strange is original, and strange is beautiful, and it's always wonderful. You have a good title to your show, so it's a good fit. You and I think.
Yeah. Let me go.
Very cool.
Real quick.
I love the drawing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got a good eye for it.
Okay.
Am I overdressed? I never know what to wear. I've done a few of these, and I always wear the same thing. Basically, I just don't know what to. I never know what to put
you
on.
look classy, and I love it. Yeah. Perfect. I don't know. I feel so awkward. I'm like, why am I awkward? I'm usually not.
Oh no, you're not being awkward at all. This is great. We're just getting to know each other. I like these kind of things. It's how we can talk and kind of get things. And
yeah, and we have people watching us too.
Yeah. It makes
what
it
did I
even better.
do? Oh no. Okay, there we go. Okay. Tell us something. Okay. I cannot talk today.
No,
I always ask this question to every guest that comes to my show, no matter what. What is strange and wonderful about yourself, Mr. Nick?
I love that question. I saw you asking everyone in your interviews that. So what is strange and wonderful about me? So I think you kind of alluded to it. What's definitely strange about me is how the ideas that come into my head of how I advertise and market my book. It's very not traditional. It's kind of like it's original. It's like it's what you support, and so it's very strange. Like usually when you market a book, it's always a very serious author. Yeah. Everyone's always serious. They frown a lot. They just kind of have the picture of their book and talk about it. And you know how social media can be. Social media is very, how do we say this? It's always people trying to be cool and sexy, and I'm not really any of those things. And I always thought that I wanted to just be something different, you know, be something new and fresh and original. And when I think of things, I like to be, I like to make fun of myself. I like to be self-deprecating, but I think that that builds friendship with people. You know, it builds, it makes people feel comfortable when someone's able to make fun of themselves. And I like making people having like an innocent laugh at my shenanigans, you know. And ultimately what it helps me do is it helps me build relationships with people. You know, they know I'm not trying to be a cool guy and or you know, or something traditional. And I think that is strange, but it's also a good thing. You know, I think strange is the best because I think strange is original. But yeah, that's as you've seen some of those posts there. You know, I'm dressing up as Wonder Woman, jumping, eating potato chips. I was dressed up as a little shark with my little cardboard fin. I was on that slip and slide. I mean, I'm making a fool of myself on the internet, and I don't mind doing that. But yeah, it's strange. You said it best. But yeah, that's definitely what's strange about me. And then what's wonderful about me? It's hard for me to answer because I always feel. I feel I don't want to sound like complimenting me. I have a hard time complimenting myself or saying what's good about myself. I don't know why. I just do. But I guess what's wonderful about me, if you can say that, is what I believe in. And what I believe in is inspiring the world to accept a shared vision of life. And I know we shared some messages on this already, Courtney. I want to inspire society to accept a shared vision that includes the need for peace, equality, and true love. And that's what I believe in. That's what I put into. Yeah, I love. I knew you would say that, and that's as cheesy as it sounds, and we'll get more into this. That's what I'm here on this planet to do, and I did that through this book, and that's what this book is that central theme is what the story, you can't deny when reading the story. And so I think that's a wonderful thing. Having those
I see my old co-host has come up on the show. That's Mr. Michael Zen. He's my old co-host.
I'm Michael.
It's okay, Michael. We're a little late too, because I messed up in the beginning, but we're good.
No, I got to take some blame. I had trouble with the setting of my camera and microphone. My wife was in the background. She was trying to help me. And I'm like, I'm already 2 minutes late. I was freaking out.
Oh no! Because that happened to me before a couple times. I had that happen, and he's saying the show is awesome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I saw Michael on a lot of your shows, and he's great. You guys are a good team.
Oh yeah,
you guys work well together.
I miss him a lot. I really miss him. I like Michael come back on the show, and this is my level, Mr. Stefan. He says,
Hello,
"Hey,
Stefan.
everybody! Hey."
Hi, Stefan. Nice to meet you.
I usually have my doll on the show, but my Dahlia, yeah, but I decided not to put her up because I was like, I'm lazy.
Well, hello, and is Dahlia? Am I saying that right?
That's her name. Well, her name is Dahlia Miriam Hollifield, and there's a whole story behind that. Yes.
That's a nice name. I like that. You're very. I knew we'd like each other. Like you're very intriguing. What you say and what your show is. It's original. It's intriguing to watch what you do and like to hear what your guests say. Like everyone's very passionate about their work, which is refreshing. You know, it's a refreshing show you have here.
And that's what I love about it because I like to embrace the strange and the wonderful. Because I want to bring more people. Like if you like us in some way, you're not alone.
I agree with that, and
I also interview directors of movies, directors of movies, and actors as well.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, you have to be inclusive to everyone, and that's part of what I talk about in the book too. Is that a judgment-free environment is really how the world should operate, accepting people who they are. And I think that's, I haven't always been accepted in my life, who I've been as a kid. I wasn't very accepted, and it's tough. It's tough when you
Yeah.
grow up like that, and you search for people that are welcoming, like yourself, Courtney. So yeah, it's a good fit.
Because for
What
the
you do.
longest time when I was a kid, I could not accept who I truly was. I
Mm.
tried to fit into other boxes and stuff until one day I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to be me. And ever since then, I was still being me.
Yeah, did it take a while for you to kind of get to that?
Yes, it did. It took a long while.
Yeah, and it does. It's. I mean, and some people are still struggling with that. It's hard to grasp who you are. It's and as you know, and until you do grasp that, you're never truly comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And when you do, and you have people that can support you, and people that can love you the way you are. It's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, what you're doing is great. All inclusive, non-judgmental. That's what we're striving to achieve in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, go ahead.
I got to show some of your ads to the people.
Oh, go ahead.
So they
Sure.
can see what.
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's go get this.
Yeah, they are pretty silly. A little.
I mean, I like them. It got my attention for the book because I was about to buy the book myself until you just came and like, hey, I want to send you a gift. I want to send you my book. I'm like, okay.
Well, you were so nice and supportive. That's what I like doing. Is I send out a lot of books, and you were very nice and supportive to me, and I wanted to give you a gift. But
and I thank you for that.
Of course.
Even though I started reading it, I had to get. I'm trying to get past the textbookness. And
yeah. It takes a bit. It's a world build at the beginning.
I mean, it kind of remind me of what I would say, Dungeons and Dragons, where you have to build the world and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, a step-by-step process of building a world. We think the world was, well, I guess, how do we say this? It's most people, it's traditional beliefs focus on how a world was built. And a lot of that is focused around, what your religious belief is. And, I've tried to flip that on its head. Instead of, in this book, instead of God creating the earth, I have the devil creating the earth.
Oh, wow.
And instead of God creating humanity to populate the earth for good things and to give the humans a gift, God's creating humans to destroy the earth because God is jealous of the devil, the devil's beautiful creativity of this beautiful earth. And God believes that nothing should be beautiful without God creating it. So creates humanity to destroy it, to pollute it, and to multiply this at this insane rate, and ultimately to bring the earth and all the inhabitants to their demise. That's what I've created in this book. But a very different take on creation and how the world is built. But yeah, that's the first part of the book for sure, is that world building, like Dungeons and Dragons, like you said.
May I show one of your ads?
Oh, sorry, I was rambling. Yes, please go ahead.
Here's one of the ads.
Yep, this is our backyard, our studio. This is the the slip and slide that we got. Oh, and I gotta tell you, this is the first time. This is the first time I've been on a slip and. Look at this. The end's the best part there. I love the end of it there. A slip and slide, it's really built for kids. Like, you won't believe how bruised and scraped I was on our back.
I mean, I used to go on them all the time.
So did I. It was amazing. And now
you're like, oh God, no.
Yeah, and our backyard is very it's not very level. And there's
this one, the famous shark one.
This is the shark. Yeah, the cardboard little fin. Yep, this is how we market the book here. Courtney, you'll love this. This is it's a stream. it's a stream very close to our house. My wife and I,
Oh, wow.
we thought we were alone, and there was a gentleman fishing like 20 yards away from us who we didn't notice until it was all over. And so this guy is sitting there watching me put his fin on and swimming around like an idiot. And for some reason, I'm not embarrassed when it's on the internet, which I should be more embarrassed. I don't know why I'm not, but I'm more embarrassed when people are seeing it live. I'm like, oh God, you know. And so when this guy saw this happening, I was like, oh, what does this guy think? He's going home like, wait till you see this idiot in the stream with a fin on his back.
Like, hey, honey, guess what I saw today?
Guess what I saw this morning? And the better part about it, there's a very steep hill leading to the stream, and it's very muddy. So when we were trying to leave, my wife fell down the hill. I fell up trying to get out, and we're all getting all muddy. And then my wife, so I couldn't get myself up the hill because I kept sliding. So my wife has got this huge branch, and she's like holding it down for me to like grab on, and I'm trying to get up. It was.
Yeah.
I wish that could have been on film. That was the real. The bloopers were even better. I mean, yeah.
That's a good comment. Okay, we got a comment from Michael. He says, "It's so amazing how this show is a reflection of live stream of consciousness." Mm-hmm. It was. That's how the story began. I was a viewer of his show with Jesse Blaze when I was watching it, and I did like fan art of him and his old co-host Jess, and we bonded over the fan art, and then we became friends through that, and then. One day I was like, you know what? I want to do my own podcast. So I approached Michael with the idea of like, hey, I want to do a show like live streams of consciousness, except it's interviewing people that have strange and unusual lives and lifestyles and life events and stuff like that, and maybe movies and maybe actors and stuff like that and directors. And he was like saying, why not strange and wonderful? Oh, we got Michael coming in.
Hey! Yeah, there he is.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, Michael.
How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. I like your live stream of consciousness. That is very well said, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. I was just watching you guys and your conversation, and it's the guests that are on the Strange and Wonderful are all so amazingly spiritual and like they're. I don't think we've ever had a guest that wasn't all about loving other people, you know what I mean, and supporting other people and just being your true self, you know what I mean. But
I agree. Yeah.
It's so amazing, and I'm so happy to see your response to Courtney, because I've kind of like pushed her out of the nest,
Yeah,
when
he just like, nope, bye. Like,
well, she's doing great. Like she's a natural at this.
She's doing amazing, and she's really putting the whole concept of manifesting into play. You know what I mean? She's reaching out to people that inspire her, getting to talk to them, getting to hear them tell her how awesome she is. That, I mean, how amazing is that? So I got to tell you, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm interested in your book.
Sure.
I didn't really have much knowledge about it, but you were describing the story and
yeah, sure. I can go ahead and kind of get into it if you guys would like.
Well, I mean, that is one of my questions.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
Okay. What is In the Beginning about?
Sure. So,
and this is the lovely book, In the Beginning.
Right here.
I got to get my copy, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have to send you one, Michael. So it is a work of fiction, and this book changes the story of creation, reverses the rules of the afterlife in order to challenge God and the widely accepted views of creation. So in this book, God is evil, the devil is good. They're combating for control of the afterlife and using humans as pawns to change that fabric of existence. Now, the book is broken up into two parts. The first part is a rewrite of the Old Testament, and the second part is a rewrite of the New Testament. Now, in the first part of the book, think of the Matrix movie. Remember the Matrix movie? And when Keanu Reeves wakes up in that like tube after he takes the pill, and it's this entirely different world that he's never seen before. That's what this book is. The first part of it, it's an entirely different reality than what we think. So as Courtney and I were talking a bit in the beginning of this podcast, in the beginning of the book, so I'll be a little repetitive, but it's widely accepted that God is an entity of virtue and goodness, and that God creates the earth. Well, in this book, I'm trying to explain why the cruel nature of our society exists in order to convince people. And what I'm saying is going to be a little controversial. This is a very controversial book, and I respect your beliefs, whatever religious beliefs they are. But my goal is to inspire people to accept a vision of world peace. And to do that, I believe that religion can no longer exist. And so in the first part of this book, I'm saying that God is this evil entity that has created humans as a way to destroy an earth that the devil created. And the devil created this just out of pure goodness as a gift for God, because the devil loved God so much, wanted to show God this beautiful creation, and God was jealous of that. And God's manipulative and arrogant and trying to destroy this beautiful earth by creating humanity. And humanity is this is manipulated by God throughout the entire story, and they create greed, money, war, and power, and destroy each other, judge each other, and ultimately, it then transitions to the second part of the book, the New Testament. And the New Testament is the result of a challenge between God and the devil. And that challenge is to take two people in present day and have them fall in love and bring them together and test and torment them, strengthen that love over all these trying and horrible events. Ultimately, will bring them to their demise, sending one human to hell and the other to heaven, where they will have to decide the fate of the world, the fate of all souls in existence, and whichever realm they decide to exist, heaven or hell, will mean the end of the devil or the end of God.
Wow.
So a complete reversal around the traditional beliefs that humanity has for heaven and hell. It's very bold, very controversial.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I know, is
I'm going to say it's also very relevant. I think it's it's almost like, hey, let's take another perspective about what's going on, and man, with what's going on in the world today, with the divisive nature of humanity, and there's also there's the duality. There's a lot of people who are waking up and finding spirituality, as well as the people who are kind of falling more into fear and kind of under this this almost, like you described, like humanity is almost, I can really see what you've written there. And let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Just because, again, of the nature of what I do and the way I think about things, are you familiar with channeling? Do you feel like any of this was like channeled information, or is this purely just a work of passion to do fiction?
The passion to do fiction and the passion to inspire, and I don't want to steal Courtney's questions. I can kind of get into what inspired me to write it. Am I stealing your questions, Courtney?
I
can go ahead.
Kind of.
It's your show. I'll do whatever. I'll take.
You're good. We're good.
But yeah, like you were saying, Michael, is that it's about passion. I'm a very passionate individual. Probably a little too passionate. I'm a very sensitive individual, and but it's going to sound very cheesy. I know you don't know me, but I want to inspire humanity. That's what I'm here for. And
not cheesy. That's noble.
Thank you for saying that. And I think it's what we all want as well. Is we want a different world, and especially in today's society, the world. Like, pick a horrible event. Pick throughout history. Humanity has a repetitive cycle of horrible events, enslavement and greed and harvesting the earth and destroying it. And I wanted to explain that it doesn't have to be that way. We can unite as one and live together in peace, and to change anything on this planet, to stop global warming, to stop judgment, to live in an equal, non-judgmental society. this is a very harsh thing to say, the first step is abolishing religion. If religion no longer exists, that will bring humanity closer to peace. And once we have peace, we can solve any problem on the planet.
Right.
Anything. But nothing can move forward until that happens. So that's why I want to explain this story, because I want to convince people that I can't stop people from believing in God. I would never want to do that. I want people to believe whatever they want to believe.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
I do want people to not worship God, because I've written in this book, God allows the suffering of innocent life. And any God that allows the suffering of innocent life is something that we should not worship. We should be challenging this God. And that's what this book is. It's a God-challenging book to say, no, we refuse to worship you. You allow these horrible events to take place. And any God that cared for humanity, any God that loved us, wouldn't allow that to happen. And that's what I'm trying to inspire people with this book, is that we should no longer believe in any gods. We can just unite as one, unite in peace.
You could say that you want people to stop being sheeples and following religion blindly without any questioning. Because
exactly.
That's how I feel when it comes to religion, because I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? Why can't we just...
Well, I think it's a complex issue, and I'm also not really a fan of organized religion.
Same.
Because I think that the concepts that religion is based on have been twisted and used for control and for all of these other things. But I do feel like religion gets a bad rap, because if you look at some of the basic concepts of religion, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, those things are noble, and I think that we can all agree with those things as foundations for a successful human race, like
successful society. You're correct. You're right. You are right on, Michael. That fundamental that you just said is, I think, the most important message within the religion is do unto others as you would like done unto yourself.
Right.
That is, if we could all live by that message, this world would be a different place. This world would be equal. Humanity would support equality, and we would be at peace if that singular message was adhered to. Right. And unfortunately, it's not. But yeah, it gets a bad rep for. It shouldn't get a bad rep for those messages. Those are beautiful things that does support.
Right.
And control. Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think religion has been twisted into this idea, and here's a kind of a microcosm of the situation that we're living in right now, that we are separate from God. Mm-hmm. God is this entity outside of us that is, more powerful and judging from us, and we're not seeing that same power of source in ourselves, right? I mean, there are certain things that come down. God has created man in his image, and like I said, treat others like you would want them to be treated. So some of those virtues have successfully made it to happy people, right? True. But the people who, I think, again, we're talking centuries and centuries of system, right?
Exactly.
Of things that were put into place for specific reasons, and this is such a significant time in humanity, because I feel like that's all coming to the surface. All of the worst evil that we can do is going to come to the surface, and the greatest good that we can do is going to come to the surface. That's where I feel we're at.
Yeah, I agree.
And your book that's why I'm saying your book is so relevant, because we've lived under this paradigm of, like, again, worshiping God and these things that we've kind of been taught are keeping us safe, and now it's starting to unravel and say, this is not really the way it is. There's more to it.
And the morals and judgment that come with it, away from the fundamentals that we just talked about, as doing to others as you like done unto yourself. But a lot of the moral, it's religion is not very accepting of difference, of strange, of original, of people that want to live the way they want to live. And we're getting very. It feels like it's not getting better in society. It's almost getting worse.
And I hate to say it, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I agree.
But I do believe that there is the better on the other side. We've just got to get through it. And that's one of the things which, again, I am so grateful for Courtney to to have created this show right
Sure.
here, because for me, I'm doing the live stream, which is more spiritual conversations with spiritual mediums, and people might consider strange, but it's a different kind of strange.
Sure.
Than some of the people that Courtney has brought me to talk to, which are people, like herself, which was the original, people who are in relationships with dolls. Like, most people will hear that and be like, "What WTF?" And I literally, as I got to know Courtney and as I've done every single episode of the show, I feel my heart and my brain and my being expand.
Yeah.
Because I don't judge anybody. I mean, I see all of these amazing people who are so sure of who they are and how they want to live. So there's so much like pure intention there. And again, I tell Courtney all the time, like, thank you, man, for doing this.
You're welcome. I mean, I brought you into my world, and then
did.
you brought me into your world, and that's how we just combined. And
it's beautiful, and that and like one other thing about my book too is that I describe hell as it's not this burning, terrible place. It is a place where judgment does not exist, where equality only exists, and everyone that goes to hell just refuse to worship God. So hell is actually the earth, the way it should be. It looks exactly like earth, and the only difference is that everyone is unified in peace and love. That's what the hell is in this book. And a judgment-free society, world, is where humanity can actually flourish and become one unified existence.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on it. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you, Michael.
If you can get past the textbook world building part, I've been trying to. I gotta get past it, man.
What do you gotta get past?
The first part is like world building. It's like a textbook.
I got you.
Learning what the world is and everything.
That's all
like
good.
How heaven was made, how was God made, and stuff like that.
Like completely from scratch. You're right. Yeah.
And to let y'all know, everybody, the God, the devil, the angels are all genderless. So what pronouns would they go by? Or do they even have pronouns?
Great question, Courtney. Great question. So they have no pronouns. So in this book, it's really hard to write without using a pronoun, without using he, him, his, she, her, hers, or they, them. I don't use any of that through the entire story. So like if you say God is a manipulative and arrogant being that chooses to destroy humanity because he hates the devil, you have to create a new way of saying that without using the word he into every single sentence, without repeating the word God too many times. So you can't say God loves eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He thinks it's the best food on the planet. You have to say God loves eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because that food is the most righteous and virtuous food in existence. You have to just change the sentence. And it's very difficult to do that. So the first half of the book, I don't use any pronouns at all. It's it was difficult. It was like a journey of myself with writing. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
That's funny. I'm saying bless you.
You're good.
It was a cough, but it's
okay. Oh, sorry. No. But I thought it was necessary to keep God, the devil, and the angels all genderless, because that's never done either. God is always a he.
Right.
The angels are mostly he. That's all you hear in the Bible. It's very, I think, and I'm not assuming what you believe in, but it's very, in a lot of religion, it's very centered around male, around men.
I have noticed that a lot.
It's all men, and I'm a very big believer in the lead, not taking the lead of men. I believe in anyone but the lead of man, and I think that is and that's what I'm trying to preach in this book as well, is that men should no longer be in power. They have been in power, and it needs to be almost reversed. We need to be taking more of the female lead, and that is something that hasn't been done before. And so I wanted to have that in the book too. Is people assume when they read it that it's very subtle, that it's not. I'm not using any gender, not using the word he. Right. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, really?" And then it kind of makes people think even more of a genderless God. Why is God always a he? Why is it always a male-centric universe and religion? And I wanted to take that that really have that message, because religion does focus on the man, on the male dominating,
Right.
and that's a lot of our society. I'd say most of our society has been, male driven.
Right.
The man is the head of the household.
Right.
The man is the ruler, the one in power.
Right.
And I don't think that's right. I think
It's the patriarch society. But
exactly.
My thought, I just had a great thought, and it just flew out of my head.
I know what you mean.
I was gonna say, for me, my struggle, one of my early struggles with organized religion was actually the personification of God. The whole idea that people referred to, him and he, and I'm giving my life over to him. You know what I mean? And the way that it was presented, because to me, again, as a spiritual person, I believe more in something that I call source, which is energy. It's like a frequency. It's an energy. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the cool thing about where I'm at is I can understand how some of the descriptions that religion uses fit into that scenario. It's just like I said, it's just kind of been twisted around. So for me, I struggled with the word God, and finally I said, whenever I hear it, I'm just going to substitute it in my head for the word universe, and that worked. Suddenly I was like, I was able to say God. I'm able to respect. I had a theologist on my show who's very, very into the Bible and Jesus, and we talked about not religion versus spirituality, but how they were the same. We talked about the similarities, and it was such an amazing conversation. And again, thankfully, I think there are people out there who are kind of swayed that way towards Jesus and that belief system, but in the aspect of Jesus is love. And not in the aspect of the division and all of the other stuff that comes with the separation of God. And,
No, we're on the same page with that. I like what you said about energy too. Is that's a very important thing I think people don't think about. Is that I love it. What is it? Is it energy cannot be destroyed? It can only
create
move
it. Right.
Exactly. One from one thing to another.
Right.
And I think that is an important thing of spirituality. Is that I will eventually meet my demise. I will die. And I have energy within me, and it will go somewhere. Where that goes, I think that is something that should be explored, and we should be talking about instead of worshiping an entity we cannot prove exists, cannot prove exists, and also that it supports the suffering of innocent life. But explore what we are as humans, and our energy and how that can be shared, and connecting with people perhaps in some way who have passed on, and trying to see how that could be done. I'm very curious about that, and it's just something that needs to be explored in humanity. How we can connect with that. And it's funny, is a lot about religion is humans doing things together. Humans love we love tradition. Like think of religion as like a sporting event. Like you go to your favorite football match, or you're watching it on television. And what's great about being in a football game is that when you're on your home team is playing, you're all wearing the same jersey. You're all cheering for the same team. You're all friends. Everyone is unified in one belief of that team winning. And it's beautiful. You're in the stadium, and doesn't matter who you are. You're friends with every single person that you meet that's wearing a jersey, that's the same jersey, or that's rooting for the same team. And that's very similar to religion. We're singing the same songs. We're there for the same purpose, trying to be better humans and listen to the teachings of a preacher. And it is a beautiful thing that humans coming together, and that's ultimately what humans love, being together, unified as one. I mean, it's obvious that we can't. I mean, having that in any way of humans coming together is what we really want. It doesn't have to be through worshiping a God that we. That allows the suffering of innocent life. I know I keep on repeating that. I'm sorry, but that's
no,
totally. You're good.
Yeah, no, you're totally good. You're totally good, and I think that supports. Again, I don't want to get too much into my show, but that supports the idea of the collective consciousness. That is God. God is everybody, right? I don't know if you've heard the spiritual kind of concept that we are all a part of God, just put into the universe to experience ourselves and to experience the universe, just to kind of as a part of God, so that God is experiencing everything through everyone in all of these different perceptions. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
everybody's different perceptions. And also I feel you actually hit it on the head too. I use the example all the time as far as trying to make people understand the importance of energy and how energy is everything. And that is, you hit it on the head. A football game or a concert. If you go to a concert, everybody is there to see this band, have a good time, listen to the music, so their intention level and their focus is vibrating in a certain way.
Yeah.
And when you go into a room of everybody's vibration in that same place, you literally feel it. It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
And you can't deny that. And
You're
so
right.
the more I think people start to realize that, and then say, hey, start to apply that to when I'm in a bad mood and I'm putting out this bad energy, that's what I'm going to be surrounded in.
You're
You know
right.
what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
bathing, I'm putting it out there and I'm bathing in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
So
it feels good to like be around humans that are doing the same thing. It's not about thinking exactly the same way. We all want to think our views and everything is original to whoever we are.
Right.
But doing something together, you just like it's exciting. You can feel it. Like the energy that you just said is that if you'll be consumed with bad energy, if that's what you're putting off, it'll just be around you, and you feel like you're in an abyss, like you can't get out of it.
Right.
And then when you are doing something that you are enjoying, like at a concert or a sporting event or anything, you just can feel it, the togetherness. And that's why I'm like, I love thinking about human unity. It just feels good. And as a kid, like I was kind of, I didn't have a lot of friends as a kid, really. And as I grew older, I kind of started developing into myself a bit, and I started getting more friends more of when I was in college, I think, is when I started opening up a bit. But being being more of a goofy individual, self-deprecating individual, that's who I am. I like to make people comfortable and to laugh. And I don't care if I'm the person that people are laughing at, in a healthy way, of course. But it brings people together. I noticed, and when people let their guard down and feel that they can be accepted for just being a little silly or a little goofy, they feel accepted. They feel like they're not going to be judged or made fun of or put down or insulted. And I think that's so important, is that we have such an insulting society. People are so quick to judge someone. And what was really powerful was when you're the first show, my wife and I were watching it last night, that Michael and Courtney, that you guys did, and the guest you had on the show, that the individual's name escaped me, but there was something very important. But Raven.
Yeah, Rachel and Raven.
Rachel and Raven, and it was a very moving piece that you guys did, and my wife and I were
thank you.
sitting there and enjoying it. Yeah, and someone just talking about what they've been through and what they believe in, and it's inspiring, and people need that kind of a story, because you feel good, you feel like you want to give that person a hug and say, look, it's not everyone is like that. Not everyone wants to insult you and wants to not be there for you. I believe in self-sacrifice and putting yourself out there for somebody else, empathizing with someone else's situation. Empathy, to me, is probably the most evolved human emotion that we can have. Trying to understand what someone else has been through, what someone else is feeling, without judging them.
That's right.
Sorry, I get a little excited. I don't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's all great. That's the energy that we're conjuring here. You know what I mean?
I get a little excited.
It's really great. And
I mean, and I was not expecting Michael to come back on the show. I was like, oh my God, he's here. I saw what you did.
Michael.
I mean, I was watching and I felt Nick's energy, and I was interested in what he was saying, and I was just like, you know what? And I love doing this, like you said, like being together, talking about good things, how we feel, and
sure,
the good things that we want to contribute to humanity. You know what I mean? To the current moment in time. We could sit there and be like, oh my God, this is happening and that's happening. Or we can put good stuff out there and say, hey, I know I'm putting good stuff out there. Forget about what else is going on out there. I know what I'm doing.
How can we come together in a positive way, like what Courtney and yourself are doing? And that's you don't see that very much. Everyone usually is so quick to judge. And what I liked when Courtney and I first started talking on the show, as we were talking about how just people being accepted for who they are, and having a not judgmental situation. And that's when I thought about a hell in my head. All I could think about, what people usually think hell is just judgment and suffering for all of eternity because you didn't believe a certain way. Well, how can that be? How can that be punishment for an innocent being? How could that possibly be? And I couldn't accept that, And this book kind of came to me through, just sitting at work. I don't pay the bills writing, unfortunately, yet. I work in the financial industry, and it's something that I kind of just fell into because I had to pay my student loans off.
Yeah.
And it's brutal because it's something I don't like. I don't enjoy. It serves no purpose, and you get stuck and you're sitting at work and you're at your computer doing these mundane, terrible tasks. There's all this pressure, and that's unnecessary, and you're not doing any good. You're not doing anything that's good in the world at all. And there's a television on in the background. It's got news story after news story of every horrible thing going on. And I couldn't take it. I couldn't sit there, and I couldn't believe that this is what I'm doing, and I'm not doing a single thing to help or do anything. And that's when I started writing, is that I would be so upset. This is when I lived in New York City. I'd be so upset after work, and knowing that I haven't done anything and seeing all these terrible things. And I had a journal that my wife gave me, and I would be on the subway, and it's very hard to write in the subway because there's so many people, but I would sometimes get a few sentences in, and I would literally just be putting pen to paper after work and channeling. I think you said channeling earlier, Michael.
Yeah.
I was like, channel the negative energy and create this story. And that's how I wrote the first draft and completed my first draft. Was literally pen to paper. The entire thing I wrote down by hand, and I did most of it in transit after work because I would just be so upset. But if you take that negative energy and you put it into something good, that's like I said, I'm a very emotional guy.
You're transmuting energy. That's what you were doing.
You're channeling. You're putting it into an actual task. I learned that you could just take that negativity and make something positive about it, and that's how the book started. Like, that's how I just started writing. And
good for you, man. Congratulations. That's
awesome. Thank you. It took a long time for me to get through this, and I after I wrote it down and then I typed it all out. It took me like 17 different drafts, and I finally got to the main draft. And actually, I quit a job I had. I moved. My wife and I move around a lot, and we moved to Miami, Boca Raton, and then Miami about a couple of years ago. But I moved down there for a job with a friend of mine. It's still in the financial world, and I just couldn't do it. It was a bad decision, and I quit after a month. And so I was unemployed for like 6 months. That's a big deal. We had a little bit of savings, not much, and I was just in our little apartment, and my wife was still getting her degree living here in Philadelphia, and so we were separate for a time, and she was flying down once a month, and I was unemployed, and I would literally sit in that apartment, and like I knew that this time it was my only time in my life where I could be completely focused and have nothing else consuming me, work.
Right.
And I would just wrote for like 10 hours a day. I would do nothing all day except write. I would say drink water and go to the bathroom is all I did. And I just put everything I had into it. And I would sit there at my computer, and I would just as embarrassing as this is, I don't hope you don't mind me saying something embarrassing, but I would shed tears writing this because like there's some pretty graphic stuff that happens in this book. There's extreme violence, but ultimately a theme of peace and love. But I would just, that emotion would like course through me. And it was during that time that I was able to complete it. And that's when I self-published it. And, that's how it came about. And there's a funny thing. I don't want, Courtney, I don't want to, I know she had questions. I don't want to keep stealing your things, but the Girard baby food is a funny thing about what I do with the book.
Which I do.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Photo, yes. I've been wondering why. I actually know the answer.
Yeah.
but most people don't know the answer. Let me go.
This is funny.
This way.
My wife, Corey, my wife loves this. When I showed her this, when you first sent me this picture, she died laughing. But it's a good segue into what I do with the book and for inspiration for people.
Quick.
But yeah, it's the pairing that Amazon does is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember I was looking at it and I was like, why is baby food just popping behind it?
Courtney, you've got a fan out there. Chris Holm is saying Courtney is the best. Have a great show.
Thank you.
I agree with Chris.
Yes.
Good comment, Chris.
Nice.
Trying to figure out how to get to the other one.
That's all right. Now, while you bring it up, but yeah, Michael, you'll see the picture.
Is this your first book? Is this your
Yeah, my only book. This is
awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
this
awesome.
is.
You know what? I'm feeling, like I said, there was something that drew me from just watching the show to say want to meet you and be on the show. And I got to tell you, I feel like you've probably put some sort of consciousness into this book with
sure.
what you're describing. Sure. Like so it's out there and it's actually got this energy to it that's going to be interacting with whoever reads it.
I agree. Yeah, it's extremely thought-provoking. Oh, here's the
here's the picture.
So I'll explain this.
What's the story? Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, there's my book on the left, and on the right is Gerber meat-flavored Gerber baby food. So Amazon has paired this together, and Courtney sent me this picture. She's like, "I gotta show you this. This is what your book comes up with on Amazon. That people buy the book and they buy baby food." So I know exactly why this happens. So my wife and I, we have a fur child, a cat by the name of Patches, and Patches has a disease, and the disease causes her to not be able to digest food, and so to combat that,
baby.
Yeah, there's a medicine, and the medicine is in powdered form, and so you have to give her the medicine twice a day, and cats are very picky eaters. Yeah. And so she will eat it only when it's mixed in with meat-flavored baby food. And so
that's hysterical.
She eats. We go through 2 cans of baby food a day, and we've been buying baby food for like 4 years.
So the algorithm somehow connected you
with the book.
But I also know why the book is. So I buy a lot. I'm the biggest purchaser of the book on the planet because what I do, I send this book all over the world as a gift, like I did with Courtney. I meet people on Instagram, and I would say, "Look, if you're interested, I'll give you a gift. I don't want a review. I don't want anything. It's just a gift with my goal of inspiring people." And this book, Michael and Courtney, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I just recently sent to Germany. It's in the country of Jordan and Israel.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's
Pakistan,
also,
India, Bulgaria.
Also, I find that also really kind of noble. You know, it's just authentic. You know.
Yeah.
But this right here, this is like you were given a gift from God as far as a marketing campaign and a meme here. This is like, I mean, this is comedy gold. You know what I mean?
And so Courtney, she put it on her. She put it on her story, or she put it on her Instagram page, and I put that on my story, and it's generated some of the most of the comments I've ever had because people are like, "You gotta tell me what is this?" I tell everyone the same thing.
It really is. It's like you almost had like a creative team come up with this idea. You know what I mean? It's like,
and every time he do the ad, I always like, "Hey, don't forget the baby food.
Yeah, don't forget the ham and turkey flavored Gerber baby food."
It's really really funny.
Yeah, but that's why it pairs it because like, I mean, I know it does sound cheesy, I know, but I want to inspire humanity, so that's why I send it.
Why do you keep saying that sounds cheesy? That's so freaking noble, and like again, in this day and age, you know, where people are just like there's 2 ways to look at life, and you can say, okay, we're here to help each other, and we're all in this together, kind of thing, or how do I one up this guy, or how do I get what he's got or she's got, or you know, I mean, that's not what it's about. And I think,
agreed.
You know, like you said, in order to have a successful humanity, we need to come together. We need to realize you're my brother, Courtney's my sister, no matter how different we are from each other. You know, I mean, I think that's all of our mission, all three of us here, and you know, we do it in our own way. And your book, I'm wishing you a lot of success with this book, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm not a huge reader, but I just read recently this book, this author Lori Ladd, The Divine Design. It's a spiritual book, but I just read it, and it had an energy to it, and that's where I got the idea that a book, you create a book as a writer, and you're putting a consciousness and an intention into that piece of work. You know what I mean? And so the only other author that I've ever gotten into is Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Guide to the Galaxy. You want to know one of my favorite things that Doug Adams said? Not in The Hitchhiker, in the second one, Restaurant at the End of the Earth. When he said, I'm going to butcher the quote, I think, but he said, anyone who wants power shouldn't be allowed to have it. And I love that expression so much, because that is so true. If you want power, you shouldn't be allowed to have it, because no one should want power. You should just want to inspire. That's it. And I love that you just said Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But Michael, I know you said you weren't a big reader. Let me tell you about this, because it's a very succinct, easy read. And think of, you ever seen the movie The Hobbit? Yeah. So you know when Bilbo Baggins is in his little he's in his hobbit hole, and he's talking to the dwarves, and the dwarves are trying to convince him to come on this epic journey, this quest. It's so dangerous and this thrilling quest, and he's nervous, and he's like reading that contract, and it's like, oh, you may die, all these horrible things might happen to you, and he ends up fainting, and he says, no, I want to stay in my comfy bed and my warm fireplace. And ultimately, he decides to go and meet the dwarves and go on this epic journey and fight for what is right, to reclaim their homeland from evil. That's what this book is. It is a true journey. It is an adventure like you have never been on before. And you will find that it is, I mean, this is a very, I'm not an arrogant individual, but it is the most original piece of thrilling literature on the planet.
I love what you're putting out, you know, the energy and the, just the passion about what you've created and how connected you are to it. It's amazing, and that makes it even more authentic and perfect. I got to mention, I was wondering the other day, all of a sudden I saw all of these likes on my Instagram page, and you look a little different, but I'm just like, oh, this is the guy that's going to be on Courtney's show.
I'll
appreciate that.
Of course, I'll send you a message after this, and
I mean, you should be on Michael's show.
Yeah, I would love to have you on my show as a guest on the live stream.
I would love that, Michael.
Awesome.
And what I'll do, I'll hit you after this, and
cool.
I mean, I still got questions, but I think you answered most of them.
I'm sorry, Courtney.
You're good. You're good. I love it when they do that. I'm like, okay, that saved me time. Okay. Do you have any favorite authors that you look up to when it comes to your writing?
Yeah. Excellent question. So I've been Jules Verne is a very special individual to me. So 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is something that I really relate to. And that book, I mean, I think Jules Verne is I think he's from the end of the 1700s, early 1800s, I think. And that 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is very relevant to today. It's like he could see the future. And Captain Nemo is this entity who was disgusted with humanity and chose to go underwater and live there because he was free in his own world, in his own life. And he could no longer be among humanity that didn't believe in peace, in unity, which it was a simple coexistence of people being different. That's the author that really, I think, speaks to me. I read a lot of his books, and 20,000 Leagues definitely was a favorite one for me. But yeah, Jules Verne is an author that really speaks to me. Good question, Courtney.
Yeah.
And do you plan to write more books after this, or would this be your only book, like Oscar Wilde, but Portraits of Dorian or something like that? I got the title of that book. I'm sorry, Oscar Wilde. Don't kill me.
Well, no, I don't know Oscar Wilde very well either. I'm right with you there. I don't know the title either, but I mean, I want to write more. But as I was saying earlier, the only way to write well is to have complete focus on your work, and that's really when I was unemployed before, and I really can't be unemployed again. So I'm literally I mean, I want to get this book in the hands of everyone in the world, so it does give me the freedom to
You
write.
know,
But
yeah, I'm not an intuitive, but lately I've just been thoughts have been popping into my head, and I feel like everything that you said, I feel like you probably will write more, but I feel like right now, I think traveling and speaking about this book to people is what's going to happen for you.
that's really my dream, Michael.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
what's funny is for me, like it being an independent author is very difficult because it's hard to get someone to take a chance on a book that's not published by a large publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the only way people will buy books is if it has reviews, and it's hard to get reviews if you're not published by a large
Mm-hmm.
established publishing house.
Right.
And so that's why I send free books out all over the world, is because
Brilliant.
I want people just to with no expectations of a review, with no
And that's what I think. I think the right person is going to receive that book and be in the position to say, hey, I'm going to have Nick come over and speak at this university, or I'm going to give him the opportunity to have a book signing here. And it's just, again, that's what I saw with Lori and her book. It's just a matter of getting it into the right hands, that it resonates with the people that are reading
Sure.
it, and it will just snowball. People will be like, oh my God, you got to read this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what, I didn't read it, but I feel like that's what it feels like to me in the conversation. That's what that book feels like to me.
Yeah, I think this is right up your alley, Michael.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, good question, Courtney. Yeah.
Let me show the last ad that you sent me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
These are all pretty ridiculous. Oh.
I'm like, my favorite one is still the Wizard of Oz one.
Oh yeah.
These are all ads for the book, right? That's what.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is what I
yes,
do on
it
Instagram,
is.
Michael. I make a fool of myself. So
also great.
I know I'm usually pretty silly and goofy on this page, but this book is about a very serious topic, and it's time that I start being taken a lot more seriously. As I was saying, it's time for me to start being taken more seriously.
that's my wife.
That's amazing.
Just wanted to get that message across about me being taken more seriously. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Right.
God bless you and your wife, man. That seems like a really loving, supportive relationship.
Yeah. That was my influence ultimately came and started with her.
Yeah.
We have a good time. This has been great. This has been absolutely wonderful, Courtney. Like honestly, this is a great.
I'm thank you for coming on the show, even though I kind of messed up at the beginning, and I'm like,
No.
I
I messed up too.
Already passed.
I know. I keep bringing it up, like, oh God.
Here we are.
I remember when you
great
said
show.
I remember when you said channeling all your negative energy. That's how I felt after watching that terrible Jeepers Creepers Reborn film. I woke up so pissed off one day, and I was like, "Screw it! I'm rewriting that script," and I've been rewriting it
There you
ever
go,
since.
Good for you. Keep doing that. That's important. Yeah, that's how good creativity is spawned, just by what you're doing right there.
I was
good,
so
Courtney.
mad at that director. Like, what did you do?
Nick, it was great to meet you. I'm looking
too.
forward to your message. I'm going to actually duck out and let Courtney sign the show off with you.
Now I have my show back, but you're welcome anytime, Michael. You're welcome anytime.
Pleasure, Michael.
Thank you, dear. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was my old co-host, Michael Zen. He has finally left the building. He has gone to another universe and gone back to live stream of consciousness and left me with my show all by myself again. So I have one more question. If you could go back in time to your child self, what would you tell them and why?
Oh, Courtney, that is a good one. I would go back. I would go back to myself when I was in sixth grade. I don't know how old are kids in sixth grade? Is it
12, 13? 12? Yeah.
That was a hard time for me, that age. I had some difficulty at that age. And I'll go back and tell myself, I guess, don't worry, Nick. Don't worry about what's going on. Don't worry who you are now. Stay focused. You'll gain your confidence one of these days. That's what I'd say.
That's very beautiful.
It's a touching question, Courtney. I wasn't expecting that. Well done.
I mean, I always begin the question with every show I do with every guest. What is strange and wonderful about yourself? And I always end the show with, if you can go back in time to your childhood self, what will you tell them and why?
Well done, Courtney. I like talking with you. You're a very good spirit. This has been very enjoyable.
And thank you for coming again on my show. This is Mr. Nick I probably missed how do you pronounce your last name?
It's okay. It's okay. It's Girard.
Girard. I've been saying Girard. I'm sorry, y'all.
Don't worry about it at all. It happens all the time.
Okay. You can visit Nick Girard on his social media. He's mostly on Instagram.
Just Instagram. Yep. Okay, Nick D. Girard.
Let me put that up real quick.
And you'll see the last post I did is Courtney's amazing illustration.
I don't know. What did I do?
I'm going to find that. I'm going to have to find a tailor to design that toga. I love that.
I mean, I was just thinking like it has something to do with religion, so why not?
Good idea. That was a really good idea.
Okay. Let me see if I can get this to show. Here he is. That's where you can contact him at.
Thank you. Perfect. That's it.
And let me see. What did I do to my screen? I'm still new to all of this.
Don't worry about it at all.
Trying to get it to scroll, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, actually. It happened to me today when I was late. I was like,
I was like,
my wife,
you know what? Let's show some ads. Yeah, some ads. You can contact him at Nick D. Girard at his site on Instagram and support his book in the beginning. It's interesting, I can say that. But
thank you,
I'm feeling I cannot talk today. Who?
That's all right.
From what I was reading, I'm like, I know it's not boring. It's gonna get interesting. I just know it.
Yeah. Starting with a very succinct world build, and like what you said, I think Dungeons and Dragons. You're building your own world. It's a step-by-step process that will then transition to an epic story of true love, where every soul in existence will have to be decided on where to live, heaven or hell.
And you did say that you based two of the main characters on you and your wife.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to give out too much of the story, y'all. Go read in the beginning. You'll find out. Okay, the way I found out was through his funny ads.
Thanks, Courtney. It's been pleasure on being on your show. Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming on my show. I'll have to let you go. Have a good day. We will speak again in the nebel winds of the rainbows, and I'm not making any sense as always.
I love it, Courtney. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming on the show. I'll see you next time. Everybody say bye to Mr. Nick. Bye bye.
Bye, Courtney.
And I'll remember you 1 second. Okay. We will talk after the show.
Thanks, Courtney.
You're welcome. Okay, that was Mr. Nick Girard of Girard. I'm still mispronouncing his name. Mr. Nick Girard. Not Jared. Girard. Okay, you know his name. You can go find his book in the beginning on Amazon. And he's been a great guest so far. I love him. I love his energy. I love his greatness and his honest. Honest. I cannot English right. I'm sorry, folks. But I love how his unique thinking on religion, because I relate to that a lot. Like, why should we be scared of God? Why? Like, but you know what? I don't want to get into religions and I don't want to get into politics, but it's a good it's good to think for yourself and not to follow what everybody's doing. Just to think on your own and make the whole decision for yourself. So next week on October, I will have the wonderful movie director and horror movie director that is friends with my actor friend Douglas Elf's Mr. Todd Sheets. He had directed Crownado. He had directed Final Call. He had directed Bone Hill Road. I keep mispronouncing that movie, but that one's about werewolves and it's pretty cool. And we're gonna have him in October. He would be the first guest. Oh, the spooky season is coming. And thank you for coming on Strange and Wonderful. Please like and subscribe on the show. We are almost at 50 subscribers. I'm so fucking happy. But we gotta make it to 100, y'all. If we make it to 100, I'll do a song with my hands. So thank you for coming on. What I'm talking about. Thank you for watching the show. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Goodbye. Bye. I'm sorry. Whoop-oo and goodbye. Let me find my outro. I'm sorry. Goodbye.